Today, I want to talk about how you can create your ideal client by assessing before you regress. And we're going to do that using the 3 R's in results. So let's go. Now, the first R in results is reasonable. Make sure the issue that you're taking on with the client is something that you can reasonably expect to resolve using hypnosis. Hypnosis is not magic. It's not a cure-all. It can seem like magic sometimes, but it really is not a cure-all. So just keep that in mind, that there's a lot you can do with hypnosis, but you need to be really clear about what's reasonable and also what you can reasonably expect to be ready to deal with yourself, your level of experience and confidence and what have you. The second R in results is right. The client needs to be a fit for you and you need to be a fit for them. So there should be a fit for your level of skill and experience. Are you the right choice for this person? Are you a fit for their specific issue? And are they the right client for you? Because, if you don't like the person, it's probably not a good fit. The third R in results is ready. The client must be ready, willing, and able to do the work necessary to get those results that they want, because you can't do it for them. They need to be consciously prepared for the work that you're going to do together, and you need permission from their conscious mind to gain access to those events from the past. So before I dive into doing the regression work, I want to meet those 3 objectives and create my ideal client. My first objective is I want to satisfy the conscious mind. The conscious mind has been struggling to resolve the issue. The client has made a conscious decision to come and see you. The conscious mind needs to be heard. So I just give it the first opportunity to do that. It's like you're up to bat. So that's the first step. Listen to what the conscious mind has to say first. I was, taught in my training, I was taught that the conscious mind knows nothing, and really we don't want to pay any attention to that. We just want to listen to the subconscious mind, and that the conscious mind may not have all, doesn't know anything, and the subconscious mind knows it all. Well, I'm of a different opinion now after a few years of doing this, and I believe that the conscious mind may not have all the answers, but I still need it participating in the process, and I need to have it in line with what we're going to do. So I need to prepare the conscious mind. And so that begins by doing a really thorough intake, because the intake gives the conscious mind the time it needs to be heard. So just asking a few kind of sketchy questions and then diving into the hypnosis usually isn't adequate, particularly when the client has been dealing with a problem for a long time, and especially if they've been on the hamster wheel with the medical profession, because you don't get listened to. So the conscious mind needs to feel that it's been heard. Show it some respect. Show some respect that what it has to say has some validity, that you're going to listen. You'll find that the conscious mind will be much more willing to step aside when you ask it to, if you set it up in the first place. Now, the subconscious mind is listening when you're doing the intake. When you're listening to the conscious mind, the subconscious mind isn't, in Tahiti. It's right there with you, and it's actually assessing you while you're talking to the conscious mind during the intake. So you're not wasting any time by spending time listening to the conscious mind. You actually can use that as an opportunity to demonstrate to the subconscious mind that you can be trusted. The conscious mind also needs logic. I mean, that's its prime operating modality, reason and logic. So it uses reason and logic to make sense of things. That's what gives us a sense of control. And when things don't make sense, then they're perceived as threatening. So I like to educate the client so that they have a sense of control. And I teach them 3 things. So this is the educational pre-talk kind of portion of things, although this can be woven in and out of during the intake or during any conversation. But there's 3 basic things that I want to teach the client. First of all, I'm going to teach them how the mind works. Secondly, I'm going to teach them how hypnosis works. And third, I'm going to teach them how we work together so that they know what they can expect from their sessions. Therapeutic hypnosis is an interactive process, and when the conscious mind understands that, there's not going to be any cloak and dagger here, I'm being forthcoming about how we're going to work together, and that the power is with them, that there's no magic here, it's all within them, it's just that they don't know how to use it yet. And I'm helping them to understand that we're working with the natural capacities of the mind. It's just that nobody ever taught them this before. That when they get that understanding, you have a willing participant in a process, and you have someone who is ready and willing to do the work that's required, simply because it makes sense. Now, the third thing that the conscious mind needs is reasons. The conscious mind needs a reason to believe. So I like to give it proof. Nothing speaks stronger than proof, right? So in the first session, I want to provide some evidence that the hypnosis actually happened. That's the first thing. I want to prove to them that they were in hypnosis, because that's what they think they're paying for. And this ability to enter into a state of hypnosis can then be associated with their power to create change. So you can link them together. But if they don't think they've been in hypnosis, then you basically shot yourself in the foot. I use a formal induction in the first session, and I use relaxation hypnosis in the first session, and I do that for a reason. The formal induction is, well, most people expect to be hypnotized, so I'm going to give them the experience of being hypnotized. And I use relaxation because using those deepening sensations of relaxation, those sensations can be associated with hypnosis, so that can act as proof. And that can also then be used as a reason to expect positive results from the healing process. Okay, the second objective is I want to evaluate the conscious mind of the client. Once I've satisfied the client's conscious need to be heard and for the process to make sense and to establish reasonable expectations of how we're going to work together, I want to evaluate just how ready, willing, and able the client is for regression. I want to know how willing are they and how ready are they to face their past. I want to know how willing are they to allow their feelings to come up and be expressed. And I also want to know how able they are to be present and loving to their inner child. You need to evaluate the conscious mind's ability to do the work necessary, because the last thing you want happening in an event is for the client's conscious mind to start coming undone, or to be balking at the process or trying to avoid. You need a grown-up present to do the work, and you just can't do it for them. So it's setting the client up to do this work themselves. So if you evaluate, then you know how best to prepare the client to do whatever needs to happen in the sessions. And I like to do that before we actually start diving into the regression. It just makes things a lot quicker and easier and less messy for the client. So that's the third objective. I want to teach the client how to work with me. I want to prepare the client before we actually get into doing the regression work. So the way I do that is I introduce the processes that we're going to use together. And what I want to do is I want to give them the opportunity to experience each of those processes in a very non-threatening way. So we're not dumping them into a traumatic event. I don't even bother to get them into a past event. It's not necessary. I just want to use a gentler approach. It takes a little longer to set things up, but it will save you time when it comes to doing the regression. Human beings tend to fear the unknown, and that creates resistance. Resistance will cost you time in your sessions. If you can take care of the resistance before you get into the regression, it's going to go a lot more smoothly for both of you. So by gently introducing these concepts and methods that we're going to use in the sessions together before we do regression work, well, it makes all those things known. So there's much less resistance to going there. So there's a little tip for you now. Before you regress, assess how your client is going to respond to those things. And then you'll know what you need to do to prepare the client so that you can create your ideal client. This is going to empower you in your sessions, and it's going to give you a much more confident client as well, someone who really trusts you to guide the process.